I love it when I have these growth epiphanies. Hey folks, it's Finn. Welcome back folks, thanks for tuning in. So it's been a while since I've done an update on all of my business adventures. And if you've seen my recent monthly vlog, you'll see that I've been talking about some personal and business changes that have been happening. And this is in response to a couple of things, really. It's partly to do with my counselling. I engaged with some counselling a couple of months ago, and there's some things coming up from that. But also, I recently watched The Social Dilemma, and that's brought up some stuff as well. Quite a lot of stuff, actually. So in today's video, I want to go a little bit more in depth than I did on my monthly vlog about exactly what's going on for me. And now, although this is largely a very personal update, it might also be of help to anybody else who, like me, has been moving from a hobby to a business, or anyone else who shares very publicly and is looking at ways to manage all of what comes up with that. But before we get stuck in, for anyone who is new, a very, very big welcome. My name is Finn, and here on this channel and on my accompanying blog, I create content on LGBT issues, mental health and personal development. My whole mission is about creating content that inspires people to be their authentic selves and live happy, fulfilling lives. So if you would like to support my channel, I would love you to subscribe, because it really helps for my channel to grow and for my videos to be found. And if you subscribe, you'll also be kept up to date with all of the regular Finstalments. So, for the last few months, there has been a growing something within me, a feeling of unrest and something bubbling to the surface, and I wasn't quite sure what it was, and it came to a bit of a head a couple of weeks ago, and I thought at first that it was likely COVID-19 orientated and going into another lockdown and winter, and it likely is some of that, and there will be a video on that topic soon. But what I've recently come to realise with the help of my counsellor is that actually what's going on for me is much more connected to my business and the way that I am doing things. For those that are new to the Finn family, our wonderful Finn fam, a little synopsis of what's been going on business-wise. A couple of years ago, back in 2018, I decided to try and change my hobby of creating videos and writing blogs into a full-time career. I have been working really, really hard to make this happen. I've been working my nuts off. Although things are definitely improving, it's still a long way off being financially sustainable. At the moment, I'm living off the little bit of money that Mum left for me when she passed away last year, and the support of my incredibly amazing partner who believes wholeheartedly in the work I do. So he's doing a lot of the financial supporting as well. And obviously, I would like my business to be earning a good enough income to contribute more to our daily lives. So the drive has been to work really hard to look for all different sorts of ways to bring revenue in around the stuff that I love to do. Now, having counselling, I've been starting to get to the bottom of what's been going on for me. If you watch my videos regularly, you'll likely remember that at the beginning of the year, I really identified that I needed some counselling. I thought it was largely to do with losing Mum, but I described having this massive ball of string that everything felt like it was knotted up into, and it was grief and it was lots of other stuff that wasn't making sense, and I needed some help to untangle that ball of string. And that's what we've been doing in my counselling sessions. And what I've actually come to realise is that actually a big part of this ball of string is worry. There's lots of worry involved around making a living and making things successful. I think when Mum died, well, I don't think, I know this now, when Mum died, I put my whole heart into this business. It was a way of distracting from things. And in my desperate attempt to start earning money and worrying about earning money, I've slipped into a scarcity mindset. A scarcity mindset just brings up lots of anxiety and worry because it puts you into a perspective of not having enough, not doing enough, not being enough, and it puts you into a heightened state which isn't good for your mental health. And this acting out of scarcity has meant that I've been saying yes to too much, I've been trying to do too much, and understandably, I'm starting to feel quite burnt out. I have been spreading myself far too thinly. I've been trying to water all of the plants in a massive garden and running out of water, all the analogies, and now I need to cut back. At the same time that this growing awareness was happening in counselling and I started to see how I'd been running around this garden like a mad person, trying to water every single plant and grow every single plant, I also watched the documentary The Social Dilemma on Netflix. I urge everyone to watch this and I shall put the link at the bottom. Now, I've always been on the wary side of social media because I'm aware that it can be used for very positive reasons, but if kept unchecked, there are lots of negative reasons to it as well. But watching The Social Dilemma really opened my eyes to just how dangerous it can be when left unchecked and how much damage it can actually do. We are being used on a grand scale to make money for big organisations, and I think we all have a responsibility to open our eyes to that and to the impact that social media is having on our personal lives, on our social lives and our cultures across this planet. Honestly, it's profound. Watching The Social Dilemma made me realise that it's not just that I'm doing too much and feeling burnt out, but also that I'm doing things in a way that doesn't feel right for me in terms of how I'm using social media for my business. To explain, one of the key differences in moving from a hobby to a business is the way I'm having to go about doing things. As a hobby, I just put up videos, I just wrote blogs, that was it. As a business, I've become much more interested in learning the mechanics behind everything because, according to everything you read, this is what you need to do. So it's things like search engine optimization. Are my videos and are my blogs optimized to be found by social media? Improving keywords, hashtags, and then doing things like making sure you're posting on social media days, social awareness days, helping your videos to be found by creating posts on lots of different social networks, working out the algorithm of different social networks so that you're posting the right amount of time for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all of these things. Hoop jumping, basically. So in my desperate attempt to be successful in my scarcity mindset of feeling like I've got to do so much in order to get my videos found, my content seen, my numbers up, I've been running around like a crazy person trying to do all of this mechanic stuff behind the scenes. It's no wonder I feel burnt out. And none of this sits well with the way I view things and my morals and my values, and I hadn't realised just how lost I'd got in all of this. So counselling had made me aware of this scarcity mindset and how much I'd slipped into a huge amount of anxiety around performing, doing the right things, panicking about money, and watching The Social Dilemma made me realise that with this scarcity, I'd just run off and got lost in all the mechanics and forgotten the whole reasons why I love creating content in the first place. It feels amazing to have had this massive breakthrough and realisation, and now it's inspiring a bit of a Finn reboot, and I'm now looking to do things differently going forward for my own mental health and to bring everything back in line with my values. It's important to acknowledge that there is a lot of positive movement forward happening. There is so much I've achieved in these last couple of years, and there's lots that show that financial stuff is starting to happen and I'm starting to earn money and the prospect looks good. So I want to acknowledge that first. I mean, I've got my book coming out next year, my first memoir about my lower surgery journey is being published with Jessica Kingsley Publishers It'll be out in April 2021. I'm doing much more public speaking and getting paid professional rates for that. I've also launched coaching and mentoring and consulting, so I'm working with writers who want help with writing trans characters and narratives. I'm working one-to-one with people through their transition stuff. So it is all starting to happen, and I'll put a link below to all my new services if you haven't seen those. So I am starting to discover what works and what I love doing and how this business is going to look. So there's lots of good. So going forward, to allow myself to focus on the things that I am loving, especially coaching and mentoring, I need to be very mindful about this scarcity mindset and step out of it. And the way I do that is by stopping saying yes to everything. Stop adding other things to do. If something looks good and promising to do, then something else has to go first. I can't say yes to absolutely everything. I can't do absolutely everything. It's time to stop spreading myself so thinly. It's far more important to concentrate on the things that bring me and the people I work with joy and add value to my life and the people I work with. Concentrate on those. I also have to be very mindful about my mental and physical health, which continues to be problematic. My mental health fluctuates, it really does. I also have this thyroid issue that just won't stabilise. I've added some heart issues into the mix now because they've discovered I've got this extra heartbeat, which all feeds in to the hypothyroidism, which then feeds in to the mental health. So I have a tricky personal life to balance around everything. And I went self-employed to allow myself to balance my mental and physical health. The flexibility I need to look after myself was why I went self-employed. So I have to be mindful now that I don't make a new rod for my back by making myself work too hard. You know, the whole point of this is to look after my mental health so that I can be of service to myself and to others. It's the oxygen mask, isn't it? Look after me, then I can look after someone else. One huge issue I really do have when it comes to my business is that I am my business. And so it becomes very, very hard to separate personal Finn from public Finn. And I'm finding that really tricky, and that's important for me now going forward to find new ways to balance these. If you watched my recent monthly vlog, you'll have heard the announcement that for the time being, I'm actually going to stop the monthly vlogs. And the reason for this is because I am filming every single day bits of my life with me and Chris, and that's meaning that there is less of a boundary between work and personal anymore. And so I can't really be in the moment with myself and with Chris because whenever we're anywhere, I'm thinking, oh, I need to film this for my monthly vlog, and that isn't feeling healthy or sustainable. I need a bit more personal me time. So at the moment I'm stopping the monthly vlogs. They might return, or instead what we might do is more videos with me and Chris so that you still get to see my fur, but that we don't end up just filming our everyday life. So just more regular vlogs with the two of us so that you don't miss him, if that makes sense. More importantly, I want to get back to sharing and creating content for the love of it. Not just because I think I need to post a picture, because I haven't posted one and Facebook wants 3 a day, Instagram wants 2 a day, and all of this rubbish. I want to just be able to post for the love of it and not the mechanics of it. I'm realising why I've been struggling to come up with ideas for blogs and videos is because all of my effort, all of my creativity has gone into crafting posts to fulfill this crazy social media engine. And if I actually stop doing that, I'm going to have much more energy for creating the content that I want to create and that I know you love. I do think social media can be a really powerful tool if it's used positively. And I also really do enjoy sharing with you all, but I want to do it in a way that sits well with my values and that feels authentic. I don't want to be this influencer. That's just not me. That's not what I set out to do, or to be some YouTube famous person, you know. Don't get me wrong. I love it when people spot me and say hello, or they say thank you for my videos. I love all of that. But what I love more than anything is hearing what a difference it makes to people's lives. That's what drives me, not fame, not being an influencer, but actually knowing that I create content, that I make a difference in people's lives with the things I create. That's what drives me. One little brain change I've been having recently which might help is that I am a brand. In a lot of ways, that's what I'm seen as, this influencer and a brand. And so I've been kind of marketing me, and that's felt uncomfortable in a lot of ways. And actually this change of mindset I'm thinking is that actually it's not me that I'm marketing, but it's a message. The message that underlies every single bit of content I make is that anybody can recover their lives no matter what they've been through and rewrite their story. That is my message in everything I share. And so that is the brand. That is what I'm selling, whether it's in a book, whether it's in a video, whether it's in a blog, whether it's in a public event, a talk, whether it's one-to-one with clients. That is actually what I'm selling, the drive to help other people to live happier, authentic lives. And actually, if I separate myself from that, it makes it a little bit easier to have me separate and this aspect of me that's my business. Did that make sense? I love being honest and real, and I don't ever want to be this person on a pedestal that's seen as this perfect person. I'm human, you know, and that's always been at the core of everything I do. I'm a human being, that I make mistakes, that I'm far from perfect, and I never want to have the dynamic set up where I am on this pedestal. And this has also been making me think differently around memberships. I have some amazing members here on YouTube in the Flock Membership Club and on my Ko-fi page as the Coffee Club members, and I'm loving interacting with you. And I know you've all been hearing me over the last kind of month or so speaking about all this as this realisation was coming up, and I have some really interesting ideas to share with members about moving forward in creating a more kind of authentic, intentional community for those that choose to support my content with financial donations. So I will be speaking to all my members personally about that aspect as well. Largely though, things will stay the same. In fact, things should hopefully get better. You're still going to see lots of me. I'm still going to be making videos. I'm still going to be writing blogs. I'm still going to be doing everything I normally do. It's just that going forward, I want to do things differently. So in the meantime, you might see a little less of me as I just kind of take a step back from social media a bit whilst I work out how to more healthily re-engage with it. But I promise I am not going anywhere. If anything, you'll be getting a much better version of me once I've taken some step back, because I can take some time back from me, I can start engaging with social media in a healthier way, and all of this will mean that I have more energy to create the content that I love to create and that I know you love to watch and read. So there we are. That was one of my waffly updates that I hope made sense. I love to share very honestly with you about my entire process, and that's what I'm doing here in this video. I'm very transparent about everything I do because it's important to me to be like that. I love the connection I have with people on here from sharing like this through all my processes, the gender transition, recovery, building my life, building my career. So I love to share this stuff with you, and I always value your feedback, so please don't be shy. Feel free to leave me a comment in the section below. And as I said, all my members, my Coffee Club members and my Flock Club members, you will be getting your own personal updates soon about new ideas going forward for our memberships. Stay tuned for that. Thanks so much for watching, folks. Take care of yourselves, and I shall see you next week.